Hello, fourth graders. Today we are going to learn about base 10 blocks and how we can use them to solve problems. Well, just as an introduction, this is considered a 1 or a cube. 10 of these cubes will make up a long. So if you look at your long right here, you can tell that there are 10 cubes that will fit in the long. Remember, whenever we talked about place value last time, that it was times 10 per place value gave you the next one. So 1 times 10 gives us our tens place. If we take 10 longs, 10 of these will equal 100, which is a flat. So 10 longs times 10 equals your 100, which is a flat. And then if you take 10 of these hundreds, you get what's called a thousands box. And this is what 1,000 looks like whenever you have 10 flats put together. So we have our cube, which is 1. 10 of these equals a 10, which is a long. 10 of these equals a flat, which is 100. And 10 of these hundreds equals a 1,000 cube. Now, 10 of these thousands would equal 10,000. So if we had 100 of these thousands, that would equal 100,000, and so on. Notice that it takes 10 of one place value to make the next place value. So 10 ones equals 110. 10 tens equals 100. 10 hundreds equals 1,000. Remember that times 10 moves the number to the right. Divided by 10 will move the number to the left. So using that information that we just had, we're going to solve some problems. Imagine that 10 students each made 37 cookies. How many cookies do they have altogether? Well, we have 10 students each making 37 cookies. So we could do the first strategy, which is called the add zeros strategy. Well, we have 10 students, and they each made 37 cookies, so that's 10 times 37. The add zero strategy says that when you multiply by 10, you move your number to the left. So 37 would be moved into the hundreds column. Well, hundreds has 3 numbers, so what can I do right there? I add a 0 to hold my spot. So 10 times 37 would equal 370. Now if you notice, the 10 has 1 0, and my answer has 1 0. So that's why it's called the add zero strategy. Because when you multiplied by 10, it put you over 1 spot, so you had to hold your place value with that 0. So this is 370 cookies. We always want to make sure we add our unit at the end, so whatever we're talking about. Second strategy you can do, and this is only for easier problems. You don't want to do 100 times 37 to do this, because you would have to write this out 100 times. So what you would want to do is use this strategy only whenever you absolutely need to. But this is the addition strategy. So I took 37 and I added it 10 times. And when I do that, I will get 370 cookies, just like I did with my add zero strategy. Then you have the base 10 block strategy. And this is another one that you just want to use whenever you have a smaller problem. And this is going to be easier with your times 10 ones. So here I have 3 longs and 7 cubes to make 37. Well, I need 10 groups of 37. So when I make 10 sets of 3, that's going to give me 30 longs. So I'm going to have 30 groups of 10. That's right here. Then I need 10 groups of 7. So 10 groups of 7 cubes is how many cubes I will have. So 30 times 10, well, 3 times 10 is 30. Plus you have your extra 0 here. This is like an add 0 strategy, and you get 300. Then you have 10 times 7 is 70. Add those two together and you get 370 cookies. Then let's look at our place value chart right here. So I have the number 37. My 3 represents 30 in the tens, and my 7 represents 7 ones. I multiplied by 10. Remember when I said by 10? You go to the left. So I'm going to move 37, 1 place value over, because it's just times 10. Well, because I moved my 37 1 place value over, I have to have a number in this ones category. Do I have any ones? No. So I would put my 0 right there. Now I have, instead of 3 tens, I have 3 hundreds. Instead of 7 ones, I now have 7 tens, and I have no ones. So I made 370. Here's another problem. 100 students have $42 each. How much total money do they have? I'm going to do the add zeros one on this one because I find that this is the easiest way to do place value problems. So I have 100 students. They each have $42. So I have to multiply by 42. And I'm going to do my add zero strategy. Well, 42 is going to be written down because 42 is my main number. And then 100 is 10 times 10. So I had to move 2 place values to the left. So that left me 2 places that were empty. Well, I have 2 zeros here that I can put in my answer to make $4,200. So notice, whenever you multiply by a 10, a 100, even 200 and 300 and 30 and 40, as many zeros as you have in the back, that's how many zeros will be at the end of your number in your answer, because that's how many place values you moved over. So let's look here. I have 42. Started out in the tens column. 4 was worth 40 in the tens, and 2 was worth 2 ones. Well, I moved over 100. 10 times 10 equals 100, so I had to move 2 place values over. So the 4 would go to the thousands. The 2 would move to the hundreds. And I have 2 empty place value boxes, which means I need to put my zeros to hold their place right there. So it would equal 4,200. Here's another one. I have 3,800 marbles. I am sharing them equally among 10 friends. How many marbles does each friend get? Now, I need to think about this problem. They don't all have marbles that we're combining together, so we're not going to multiply. What we need to do is do take away zeros, because I am going to give away my marbles. So I have 3,800 marbles that I am willing to share with 10 of my friends. So I'm going to divide them equally among 10 friends. When we divide by 10, that means our number is going to move over to the right. So I have 38 is going to get moved over. And I'll show you over here also. 38 is going to get moved over 1 spot. Well, I went from thousands to hundreds, which means I got rid of a whole place value here. So I need to fill this place value with my filler, which is the 0, to make it 380. Now let's see what you noticed. I have a 0 here, and I have 2 zeros right here. In my answer, it just left me with 1 0. So what I did, or an easier way to do this now, is whenever you divide by a number that has 0 at the end of it, cross that 0 out if your answer has a 0. And then look, if I separate this, that gives me 380. My answer is 380. So this is the takeaway zeros. So now I want you to work these out in your notebook. You're going to write 2 or more sentences to explain your reasoning for each problem. You have 4 problems to do. The first one, I want you to figure out what 100 boxes of 376 coins would equal, what 960 Skittles shared by 10 people would equal, 10 sets of 40 pencils equals what number, and 4,300 movie tickets divided among 100 people. What would that equal? Have a good night.